Today we are going to discuss about rusting and its prevention. Rusting of iron comes under wet or electrochemical corrosion. This type of corrosion is observed when a conducting liquid is in contact with a metal or when two dissimilar metals alloys are either immersed or dipped partially in a solution. The corrosion occurs due to existence of separate anodic and cathodic areas or parts between which current flows through the conducting solution. Rusting of iron in neutral aqueous solution of electrolytes like NaCl in presence of atmospheric oxygen is a common example of this type of corrosion. So what are the objectives of this? So to decrease the loss of money, to improve the machinery parts from rusting, to add strength and mechanical properties to the metal, and to protect it from corrosion. So what is corrosion? Corrosion is the reverse process of extraction. It is defined as the deterioration or decay of metal due to environmental conditions. It is of two types, that is dry or chemical corrosion and wet or electrochemical corrosion. So as we have studied earlier, rusting of iron takes place in wet corrosion. The wet corrosion is done by the process or mechanism of oxygen absorption. So wet corrosion actually is again of two types, that is evolution of hydrogen and absorption of oxygen. So the diagram which I am showing you is the mechanism of wet corrosion by oxygen absorption, in which rusting of iron takes place. Then process of rusting of iron. How this process takes place? The surface of iron will be usually coated with a thin film of iron oxide. However, if this oxide film develops some cracks, anodic areas are created on the surface, while pure metal acts as cathode. Thus, anodic areas are very small surface parts. The rest of the surface of the metal forms cathodes. Thus, at the anodic part, iron metal dissolves as Fe+2 ions with the liberation of electrons. That is, iron gives iron ions and 2 electrons. The liberated electrons float from anodic to the cathodic areas through iron metal, during which they interact with dissolved oxygen and moisture. So, oxygen with water and electrons forms hydroxyl ions. The iron ions and hydroxyl ions diffuse and form ferrous hydroxide precipitate when they meet with each other. The reaction is given as below. If enough oxygen is present, ferrous hydroxide is easily oxidized to ferric hydroxide, and the reaction is shown below. The product called yellow rust actually corresponds to ferric hydroxide, hydrated ferric hydroxide. If the supply of oxygen is limited, the corrosion product may be even black, forming anhydrous magnetite. What are the factors that affect this rusting? So there are several factors that accelerate the process of rusting, and some of them are like moisture, acid and impurities. So coming to the moisture, iron exposed to moist conditions is the most common reason. Acid. It accelerates rusting. When exposed to acid rains, iron rusts faster. On the other hand, alkalis inhibit rusting. Impurity. Pure iron rusts slower than the iron mass, which contains a mixture of metals. Then the disadvantages of rusting of iron. Rusting makes iron flaky and decreases its shelf life. The mechanical properties like strength, conductivity and malleability decreases, which cause the rusted iron useless. A considerable amount of damage is done by rusting every year, which includes all the machinery parts. Loss of money occurs for the replacement and repair of these damages, as we come to know that $2 to $2.5 billion per annum all over the world is wasted due to corrosion. Thus, it is important to take steps to prevent iron from getting rusted. So what are these methods of prevention? So the methods of prevention are of two types again: coatings and painting. So we can coat iron with anodic coatings, and then if we apply paint to the surface of the iron, it protects from rusting. The next method which we use is galvanization. It is a process of depositing a thin layer of non-reactive metal like zinc on the surface of iron. So this metallic layer prevents the iron to come in contact with air and moisture. So the process of shreddizing can also be done. So it is a process of cementation. So today we have I conclude here for rusting and its prevention. Thank you.